excited to announce we have today on the Cue the Duck Boats podcast, Johnny Beecher of the Providence Bruins, drafted 30th overall in 2019 from Michigan to the Boston Bruins. How you doing today, Johnny?
I'm doing very well. How are you guys?
Very good. Very good. Connor, Kev?
Doing well. Glad to have you on today, Johnny. Appreciate your time.
Very excited for this.
Yeah, you're just for complete transparency, you're our first interview of anyone who plays professional hockey, so we're definitely super excited to have you on. And how's everything going this year with just the team? Like, how is it being your first year, like being a pro?
It's been great. We got a lot of young guys this year, and I came out to Providence at the end of the Michigan season last year for a couple of weeks, and unfortunately we lost first round of the playoffs, but coming back this year, a lot of new faces in the locker room, and we got a lot of young talent, and it's been a ton of fun to come to the rink every day and go to work, and we've had a ton of success to start off, so definitely helps.
Definitely, I know. Just
Awesome.
To see both teams like leading the league is awesome for us. As we kind of like our podcast is the whole NHL, but all three of us are Bruins fans, so it's definitely great to see it. I'm in Rhode Island. So
Gotcha.
It's definitely great to see both teams pretty dominant start the year.
Absolutely. It's nice as a Bruins fan to see that going. Kind of where I want to kick it off with you, Johnny, is like your early life in hockey. How did you really get into hockey as a child?
I got into it because of my brother. He was a huge hockey buff, and he started playing when he was around 2 years old. He's about 3 or 4 years older than me, and because of him, I just kind of grew up in the rink, and traveling and watching him play and practice, and that's kind of where it all started for me. And to start off, I really wasn't too hot on it. I always enjoyed telling the story how when I was younger. I'd always tell my parents that the ice was just, too slippery, and I wanted nothing to do with it. So when I turned about 6, that's kind of when I made, the jump into the sport. And it was pretty much my whole childhood, whether it was, playing knee hockey with my brother and our buddies, or, out playing street hockey in the summers, that it kind of just, crafted who we were as a family. And I have lifelong friendships and things that I still cherish to this day from growing up at that time, so I have hockey to thank for a lot of it.
Yeah, I think I played my whole life too, obviously, like not at the same level in any way, but just the hockey's like just a part of your life forever. And I coach now. I coach a U8 team, so like just seeing the kids at that age and like watching them start to fall in love with the game, it's like the same thing. Like you just see it over and over again with every kid, just as they find hockey and they start to like love it. And like we're about to go on our first tournament, and just knowing like they're all just gonna get to go wild and play knee hockey, I'm like, you guys are gonna love this.
Yeah, no, those are the best times. Everybody's in the hotel together, and I think the parents enjoy it even more than the players at times. But no, it's a ton of fun, and the amount of memories that you take away from little things like that is unbelievable. So that's definitely a great time to be a hockey player.
Without a doubt.
So growing up, who's your favorite player? Like your idol, the guy you want to be growing up?
I was a big Sidney Crosby fan growing up. When I was really young, my parents were Buffalo Sabres fans, being an upstate New York family, and I just kind of gravitated towards Pittsburgh a bit, and right around when I was starting to really get into hockey, and kind of started to take off, was at kind of the peak of their height when they were winning Stanley Cups, and Crosby was just tearing through the league, and he was just so fun to watch every night, and he did so many great things for the game, and so that's just kind of how I gravitated towards them. But there's just so many players. I was younger watching the Sabres, guys like Maximo Afinogenov and Jason Pominville, and just so many names that my brother and I would look up to and pretend to be when we were playing mini sticks. So it's funny.
Yeah, it was either for our age group of kids, it was either Crosby or Ovechkin, right? Like that was like for me. Like I grew up, I was always a Bruins fan, but like I loved watching Ovechkin play. That was always like my guy. So definitely can resonate with that a bit. Do you remember the point where you knew like, hey, like I have a chance to play Division I have a chance to play for Team USA?
Yeah, I think, when I was younger, I just played, house level hockey, right in Elmira, New York. And, obviously I love the sport and, wanted to win every time I went on the ice. But, it was never anything, too serious. Every kid's dream is to play in the NHL. But, once I turned, I think 12 or 13, I made the jump to AAA hockey and traveled up to Syracuse and played there for the Syracuse Nationals for 2 years. And started gaining interest from D1 schools and places all over the country. And it's pretty crazy, to be that young and be getting offers from some of these amazing universities that you've heard stories about growing up. And I think that was kind of where I realized that it could definitely turn into something. And then after that, ended up at Salisbury Prep School out in Connecticut for a year. And, I'd already been talking to the development program a little bit up until that point, and then that was the year I got my offer, and went from there. So,
Awesome. I'm
Awesome.
gonna I'm gonna toss in a fun question. And this actually came from a fan who reached out, and they are, I will say, a super fan of Darla Forbert, and they wanted to know if you had the opportunity in the preseason to meet Derek Forbert's dog, Darla.
I did not know.
Did not.
He's a great guy though. This was the first time I had met him this year, and um, you know, great guy. Everybody up there is amazing. Make you feel welcome. And but no, I did not have the pleasure of meeting his pup. So maybe someday.
Maybe
Yeah,
someday.
when that one came in on Twitter today, I was like, "That's a good one." I was like, I wonder, like, I would assume that not too many dogs around the rink, but
No.
that was funny.
So going back, what made you pick Michigan?
Um, my family and I, we took a long time, throughout the whole college decision process. Like I said, you got, offers when you're 13, 14 years old. And at that age, you have, no idea what you want to do with your life or, what you're going to be like by the time you're a senior in high school. So, we took our time and, it was just, at the same point where Red Berenson was on his way out, and we were just kind of waiting to see who was going to get that head coaching job, and then Mel Pearson, he got the job, and he actually came out to my hometown with Brian Wiseman, and just sat down on my deck with my family and I, and had a couple burgers, and you know, I mean, throughout the whole process, you ask schools, what kind of makes them stand out from everybody else, and I had asked them that question, and they brought up the family aspect that comes along with being a Michigan Wolverine, and it's while you're there, it's when you're an alum. The support there is second to none. Whether it's staff, fans, friends, teammates, ex teammates, it's a really tight knit community, and that really meant a lot to me. And then, you get to Ann Arbor, it's a gorgeous campus, unbelievable university. I mean, Yost Ice Arena, in my mind, is the best place to play college hockey with, the best fan base. And, growing up as a kid, you saw the winged helmet. And so, it was just kind of a dream come true for me. And, I cherished every moment that I was on that campus.
Great answer. What is your so it's like this can be anything. I'm sure there's probably a bunch, but what's your favorite memory like from being at Michigan? Like it doesn't even have to be hockey related. Like I know just the campus alone is amazing, the culture, the off-campus life, everything about Michigan is top 5 college in the country, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of different things that come to mind. But like what would you think is one of your favorite memories from there?
Um, there are so many. Even, there's a lot of ups and downs while I was there, with the whole
Yeah.
COVID-19 thing. And, to be honest, we even had, a great year that year. Obviously, it kind of made things different, and, you were kind of, just with the guys the whole time. But, we had so much fun just being together every night. And, but, I think my favorite memory is probably just going to the Frozen Four, especially for me, being able to go to Boston for that. It was kind of just a surreal moment. And, unfortunately, we fell a little bit short, but we also won the Big Ten. Went to Minnesota and had pretty much a sold out crowd there, and I mean, the place was just, absolutely rocking, and, we were able to come out with the win and, bring a title back to, Ann Arbor, so, the end of last season was, definitely probably the thing that'll, forever stick out most for me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
makes sense for sure.
So, for representing USA at World Juniors, what was, maybe some of the cooler experiences or other players that you really gelled and bonded with throughout that experience?
Yeah, I was fortunate when I went to World Juniors. I was able to be with, a couple of my good buddies, Zegras, Caulfield, Turcotte, Yorkie. We all played at the development program there for 2 years together. So, it was great to just be back with them and, spend some more time. And then I got to know, some other guys that I didn't really know too well before, like, Oliver Wahlstrom and, Matthias Samuelson, who were unbelievable guys and great hockey players. And it was a really fun trip. Obviously we fell, short of what we wanted to, obtain there, but at the end of the day, it'll still be, an unbelievable experience that, I'll be able to tell, hopefully my grandkids someday. So yeah, like I said, it was obviously not the outcome we were looking for, but still a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to put that jersey on and know that you were one of the top 20 American players in your age group, right? I mean, like that's got to be something that you can tell your grandkids and they can tell their grandkids about one day. I still
Yeah.
my like my fiance's grandfather, he tells me all the time just about stories of like his cousin who played in the NHL still and things like that. So like I think those stories with that will go on a lot longer, I think, than you think, really,
Yeah,
especially with
no,
like family.
100%. And, like you said, I mean, just being able to put on, the USA jersey is, it's an experience unlike any other. You represent, so much more than yourself at that point. And, just being able to go out for, not only yourself and your teammates, but, for your country, it's something we definitely all take a lot of pride in. So, whenever you're able to do that, it's pretty special.
Definitely.
So now that you had like the whole off season training camp and everything, what's the culture like in an NHL locker room, especially with the players you have there like Bergeron, Marchand, like setting the tone?
It's unbelievable. Everybody, everybody's always talking about the culture inside the Bruins locker room and how that makes them so much different from every other franchise in the NHL. And to be able to experience that firsthand was unlike anything. From day one you get there and everybody's coming up and talking to you and like I said earlier, you always felt welcome and it was never like you were out of place. And to be able to share the ice with those guys that, I watched growing up and, that will most likely someday be Hall of Famers was something that, I'll never forget. And, even down here in Providence, we have a young group, but still, a great veteran leadership core. And, they've all been great. And, it all stems from up top and all the way from the players to management to, the people that, work at the garden and, work at Warrior Ice Arena. Everybody there is just so devoted to, succeeding. And, yeah, it's very obvious, once you're a part of it, why they've had so much success. And it's definitely special to, start to kind of get into that and, kind of see myself as a part of it.
Yeah, and hopefully you're going to be a part of it for a long time, right? I think we're all very much so rooting for that. We were from the start, but the you look at that, right, and it's just I think that's why guys want to be in Boston. I think it's one of the reasons. Every single person who plays for the Bruins or is around the organization talks about that. I think that has to be one reason that people love playing here, right? It's just that culture going into that, like down in Providence, like how does a guy like Chris Wagner help kind of bring that focus to like an AHL locker room? A guy who's just been there, been in the NHL, had success in the NHL, and seems like from the outside an awesome guy to just be around. Like, does he bring a lot of that like leadership to the locker room? I guess in the AHL.
Yeah, 100%. Wags is a great guy. And, just by watching him, every day in practice and in games, he works so hard. And, there's so much you can learn from a guy like that. We have, a bunch of guys on our team that, have kind of been around the block and, know the way that it all works. And, like I said earlier, we have a, pretty young, group that just came in and, for us to have those guys kind of lean on in certain times and, kind of pick their brains a bit is huge for us. I mean, once you turn pro, I mean, it's no surprise that it's, very different hockey and, I mean, it's a tough league. So, I mean, like I said, just to have them there to kind of bounce ideas off of or just, dissect and learn from is huge for us. So it's pretty amazing.
Awesome. Now, in the time that you spent with Boston through training camp and preseason and even, last year in the AHL and into this year, overall in your pro career thus far, what's been your favorite part, the things that you've enjoyed the most in the experience?
I mean, I've enjoyed it all. I mean, it sounds kind of cliche, but I mean, you enjoy going to the rink every day.
That
I
is
mean, you
the
kind of,
not to interrupt you, that is the classic hockey player answer. I was waiting for you to
yeah,
say go to the rink
no,
every day. But I mean, yeah,
no,
right.
it's pretty crazy. I mean, we go to the rink and practice and hang out with some of our best buddies, and to be able to do that for a living is it's incredible. And I think my favorite part so far is I've just been going through this whole training camp experience. I mean, I think it's something I'll never forget going through my first one, and like we touched on earlier, being around guys like Bergeron, Marchand, some of these prolific hockey players and, just getting to know them and, um, it's been a, special year so far and, I mean, I'm, looking forward to see how it goes.
Awesome.
And to piggyback on that, who's been like your biggest mentor in the organization so far?
Um, I mean, there's been so many, I mean, like I said earlier, we have, a really good veteran group down here in Providence and, have guys like Wags and, Kopanen who, really kind of play similar styles to myself. And, I mean, they've really kind of helped me just kind of study their game and, kind of learn from them, which has been huge. And then, I mean, when we're up, I mean, everybody, you know, kind of just helps pick each other up and, gives people tips along the way. I played with Felino for a little bit there throughout training camp. And, I mean, he was, second to none. He's an amazing guy. And, kind of just helped me, navigate through the training camp and gave me little tips here and there. So yeah, I mean, there's so many guys that help us, rookies throughout the course. So we've been very fortunate so far.
Awesome. We've peppered you with enough just Bruins and hockey questions now. What's your favorite thing to do just outside of hockey? Like whether golf, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm in the off season. I love to go golf. There's nothing better than just going on the course with a couple of your buddies and just getting away for a bit and kind of forgetting about all the stresses you got going on in your life. I mean, I've never really wanted to do anything too crazy. I mean, big movie guy. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, just like to relax and hang with friends and family as much as I can.
Oh, that's good. What have you gotten to golf at all in Rhode Island yet?
Um, I played I played a couple times, just at some small local courses. Nothing too crazy, but I got here at the end of last year. I didn't even end up bringing my clubs because it was just kind of so sudden and spur of the moment. And then when we were here, I actually had to take my clubs back home. Had to ship them back with my parents because I had all my stuff out in my car while we were in Boston for training camp because I wasn't sure where I was going to be living yet, and they were taking up, quite a bit of room in my trunk. So I didn't really get out too much this year. But hopefully, once the weather changes again and the sun comes back out in a couple months, I'll be able to get out with the guys.
Yeah, you got it. There's good courses in Rhode Island. I know it's a small state, but there's definitely
Mhm.
some. There's a
Jake
couple
Yeah,
of
is
gems.
absolutely.
Yeah,
he's a golfing connoisseur, so you'll definitely have to get him to take you somewhere
yeah,
nice later in
yeah.
the
Sounds good.
spring.
I could definitely get you guys on some decent courses over here. So we definitely golf as much as I can, 2 to 3 days a week, pretty much. But I also
Unreal. I
don't play
love it.
professional hockey, so I have a little bit more time.
Now, in the theme of the holidays coming up and, Thanksgiving being next week, a little fun question in here. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Ooh. Um, I'd probably have to go with stuffing. It's just one of those things that you don't eat ever unless it's Thanksgiving, and
Fair.
I
It's an
always
underrated
enjoy it.
solid answer. I didn't think that was close.
Yeah,
It is
no, I
good.
mean we had a little get together with the guys this past week, and because we're going to be on the road for Thanksgiving, so we just wanted to get together and have all the wives and girlfriends there, and somebody made some stuffing, and I mean I never realized how little you actually eat it, but just how delicious it is. So
Is
I'll stick with that.
there somebody on the team who's a pretty good cook that's the popular guy at these events?
We ended up just ordering food in,
Fair.
and then guys brought some side dishes, but it was all delicious, and we had an unreal time. So
Awesome.
That's always good.
One of the questions that everyone always loves to know: who's the best dressed guy in Providence?
oh man, uh, geez, I
Gonna
don't
catch
know.
heat for whoever doesn't pick. That's the fear of it, right?
Vinny Lettieri is a pretty good dressed guy. He's been around for quite a while in pro hockey, and I'll go with him. He's got pretty good style both on game days and off days. So
Awesome. That was honestly that was all the questions we really had for you. We kind of
Okay.
fired through. 'em.
You can
Do have
ask
something
him.
else?
You can ask him your question. I know this
Oh,
one.
all right. Yeah, no, yeah.
This.
This. I had one for you. So I just took my CP level 1 coaching class, and it's all virtual now because of COVID. So I was in a New York State class, and it was mostly like upstate people. How available was ice time for you as a kid? Did you have trouble like getting ice time? Because these guys they were saying like the cost of ice time up there. I mean, 7, 8 times what it costs here. And I was like, whoa. Like, I couldn't believe it when they were talking about it and, like, how hard it is for them to get ice. Was that a problem when you were going through the system too, or not as much?
I'm from a pretty small town, so throughout the summers, it's not the easiest thing ever to get ice, which is unfortunate. 'Cause I can't really spend too much time at home throughout the summers because
Yeah.
of that. But yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, I didn't really play too much in the summer, so it never really affected me too much. I mean, I was always playing, other sports and doing other things, having fun. But yeah, I mean, I know, especially now, it's definitely pretty tough, which stinks. Because I know how many people just love getting out there,
Yeah,
middle of the
no.
week just to go blow off some steam, whether it's men's league or just a little skate around. So.
Anything, yeah. What other sports did you play as a kid? That's one thing I try to stress to like parents is stop like with the 5 teams and grinding their 8-year-olds down. Like there are sometimes like guys, I'm like they can be a kid still at 8. They can still be a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I was big into soccer. I actually played varsity soccer into my 8th grade and then freshman year while I was still home. I really enjoyed that. Played with some of my best buddies and had a ton of fun. And then when I was younger, I played baseball, lacrosse, pretty much everything. And had a blast doing it. It was always fun to put the skates up for a little bit and just get something else going. And my brother was the same way, so we always kind of played similar sports. And I mean, we would always no matter what season it was, we'd always have something to bond over. So it was good.
Awesome.
Awesome, man.
Do you guys have anything else for him?
No, I just I guess I'll say, Johnny, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. I know you guys have a weekend of some games coming up this weekend, so good luck to you. Hope you guys, keep trudging along there in Providence and staying in the top spot there and stay healthy. Have a good rest of the year.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Johnny.
Good luck.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me.